What can you do to support your child's self-regulation? There are actually a lot of different things to do, and we might begin just by first paying attention to your own self-regulation. If you get upset easily with your kids, it could be that it's easy for them to also get upset. What you could do instead is, first of all, expect that there's going to be misbehavior because kids are still learning. And then when they misbehave, take a deep breath and do what I call pointing positive. First of all, in a calm voice, maybe tell them, I'd like you to do this instead. I know it's fun to throw your toys, but I don't like that. If you need help doing whatever it is you told them to do, I can come help you till you're able to do it on your own. And you focus on what you want from them. Notice when they do what you ask and thank them for it. You might create a share journal. That's a journal where it could just be, a little notebook where kids can write things down that they want to share with you when you're not available. They can write it down and then share it with you later. And for kids who are really young and they aren't able to write yet, they might just draw what they want to share with you, and they will know what that means when they come back to it later. Also, of course, catch them being good. That's a great way to support self-regulation because we help them feel better and we focus on what they're doing right, and they're more likely to do it again in the future. And all we have to do is say thanks for them doing what we've asked them to do. We don't need to say, you're such a good boy, you're such a good girl at all. We can develop a plan with our kids so that, when they're about to have their friends come over, we plan beforehand. So we might say, when Mike comes over to play, you can pick out some toys that you can take turns playing with, that you want to take turns playing with. That's one thing a good friend does. You can also play some games together. And then after he leaves, you're going to have all your toys to yourself to play with. And of course, practice makes perfect. If we can practice skills like counting to 10, doing belly breathing, noticing sounds around them during times when things are going well, when things get tough, they might actually be able to call up those skills and use the strategies that they've practiced for when they get out of control. We can remind kids when they're practicing that these are good strategies that can help them calm down when they're getting upset. We can play games. There's so many different games out there that are helpful for helping kids learn, control, and strengthen the brain connections between the prefrontal cortex, where our planning is, with our emotional center in the brain, which is kind of in the middle part of our brain. Some of the games that we can use are like Simon Says, green light, yellow light, red light, stop, freeze dance. We might use musical chairs, Mother May I. We can discuss different scenarios with our kids. We could talk about real life situations, maybe things that have actually happened before or that potentially could happen in the future. You might say, your brother's really frustrated and he ends up saying something mean to you. What could you do to respond? You could brainstorm together and think of good ideas for what to do instead. We could, if you can handle noise, we could use sticks or wooden spoons or some sort of noise makers, things that make sounds. You could have one child be a conductor and they could have a stick or a pencil or a pen, maybe even a ruler. They'll be the ones who conduct or lead the pace of the music. When they go fast, everybody has to go fast. And then when they slow down, then everybody has to go slow. Kids can learn how to control their body movements to create a nice sound together. Jenga is another opportunity for, keeping that steady hand, and kids have to plan which little block they're going to take out next. So it creates good thinking And then when a person loses, in case you've got somebody who's a poor loser, it's kind of fun to watch it all fall. So maybe losing's not so bad then. Whenever we can give our kids choices, that is a nice strategy to help them develop their self-regulation. We can, maybe give them choices about what to wear, what foods, like we might give them a choice between 2 or 3 different foods, and they can choose one of those. We might play calm music, just as a way to set the tone for kids. We could read books together. There's a book called My Mouth is a Volcano. It's by Julia Cook. And then there was another one called What Were You Thinking by Brian Smith. There's one, Super George and the Invisible Shield by Laurie Mendoza. And in that story, there are some things that George learns just to help him kind of stay in control and out of trouble. What we can do is talk about how the characters in the book use different skills, maybe what your child might do instead, or what your child might suggest that character do. We could also have a comfort corner. This is something that we use at the family place and the kids place quite a bit. It's a safe, comfortable space for kids where they're able to explore ways to help regulate their emotions using different sensory items. We use the comfort corner to help kids calm down, to maybe recover when they get overwhelmed with their emotions. If they're sad, lonely, bored, mad, they don't automatically know what to do with their emotions. So they need our support in that. And we always have adults go to the comfort corner with kids to help support their regulation. So, we can use any quiet place that feels safe to our child. It could be on a couch, in a corner area, wherever it works for both you and the child. And you'll go there with the child, and you might take a gauge of where their energy is in the beginning and how comfortable, or you could use sort of a thermometer in terms of whether or not they're super hot, like really high, or more medium, feeling okay. And what we want to do is support them in regaining control of their emotions. We could use an emotion scale, maybe as part of the comfort corner. And that might be something where we've just got different boxes drawn on top of each other. Starting with green, going to yellow, then orange, and then red, with green being, oh yeah, I'm doing well. Then maybe lighter green to yellow, that begins to be, I'm having a little bit of a hard time here. Then by orange, we know that things are really getting tough for this child. And by the time we get to red, things have already fallen apart. So these are just some different ideas for things that you can do to intentionally help your child develop their self-regulation skills. We know that kids who have parents who help support their self-regulation tend to have better skills, and kids who have better self-regulation skills do better in school, have more friends, and really are more fun for you as a parent as well, because things just go a little smoother. And so, particularly if you have a child who has a hard time with their emotions, you might intentionally spend some time with them to help support the development of those skills. And you might talk about it, that really this is something that we need to practice so that we get better at. And the more we practice, the better we get. And there's a great outcome because we want kids to have good friendships, and we want them to, I guess, feel good internally as well. And, part of our role as parents is to help them understand how to do that.